Hello there, this is the second blog of our exciting trip down in Spain. This is our coming to the end of our second week. Right, we've travelled, trying to think where we travelled from since our last blog, but I would imagine we travelled from the top of Madrid. We went over to a place, I think I can remember rightly on the other blog, which was Naha. Yes, that's correct. And we stayed there for, we was going to stay there for 8 days, but ended up only staying for 7. Had a good time there. Went out quite a few times. Saw a property that I really liked because it had a lift in it. The only major problem of it hadn't been finished and it had been left, which was a shame because it still had a full building, had everything there, just less the windows, and the swimming pool looked a bit dirty and the garden was a bit overgrown and the wall hadn't been finished. But other than that, it was nice, and we couldn't buy it, so that was a no-no. I then put a photograph on Facebook saying that we really love this place, which is a run-down old ruin down near the river, just to see how many people would like it. And there was loads of you. You must have think I was nuts. So, eventually, I think people were realising that I was doing it for a joke. So sorry about that, everybody. Just the way it goes with me. Anyway, so we got some emails back from a place near Mazarrón, which we wanted to have a look. So we went down to Mazarrón and we found a lovely site, which was, this time of year, it was virtually packed. There was only 4 places left, and we obviously got one of them. I think when we drove in, Jan said, I'll just drive on to anyone, and I think we actually drove on to somebody else's patch because he'd gone out for the day, a Frenchman, and he wasn't very happy. Anyway, he didn't seem to moan at us about it, but you could tell by, because he brought the owner around a couple of times, going up and down. Anyway, we stayed there. We stayed, yeah, we only stayed there one night. But anyway, on that same day, we went over to, I think it's called Camposol. It's an urban district that they built up into sectors. There was Sector A, Sector B, C and D. So we popped into the agent. Nice couple. Went out with a guy, took us around 3 homes. It was like everything else. We looked at the first home and didn't have a pool. Looked quite nice. We went to the next place, which had a pool, but it didn't look that brilliant, and it had a lovely basement that you could have put masses in there. You could have put all Jan sheds in there and still have lots of room. And then we looked at the last one, which was in Sector A, which we really liked, to be honest. We didn't have much time there, so we went back to Mazarrón and we walked the dog on the beach. The beach was a bit stony. Bonnie loved it. And then in the morning I got up early with Bonnie. We went out for a quick walk down onto the beach as the sun was coming up. Oh, to be honest, I really loved it there. It's a really nice place. You can see that they're trying to probably go down the road of Torremolinos and whatever. They're trying to tidy it up, and yeah, I liked it down there. Anyway, we went back to Camposol again, and this time, as from yesterday, I didn't really explain it had been raining, but this time the sun was out. We really wanted to stay into Sector A because Sector A had everything there, had, all the shops and whatever, and Sector B was just as good, had the garage, just as many shops. I mean, you didn't really need to go down to Mazarrón. You could have just stayed on this complex really, because you could shops and whatever. So anyway, we went. This other bungalow, well, not bungalow, villa, was in Sector C. So we, let's just explain again. The only reason we went over to this area in the first place is that we had saw something on the internet that didn't have a pool, because it was quite a reasonable price. But I'll be honest, when I saw the swimming pool, I said, right, that's it, we're going to have a swimming pool. It just didn't look right, having a back garden with no pool. So we went to see this place. It wasn't really where we wanted to go, because it's over the other side and they've got a golf course there and they've got a golf club. But they haven't got any shops now, but obviously we're going to still have the car. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's that far to walk, I suppose. So anyway, we went in there, and that was it. If we had the money there and now, we would have got that place, I'm sure. It was just right. The sun was in the right position, and it looked nice inside. I mean, all the houses that we'd seen, they're all Rosa villas, and they're all the same layout. I suppose the only major thing is that there are only 2 bedrooms. I mean, they got 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, which you would have thought was plenty, but we got so much stuff. I mean, I suppose we could obviously, there's room on the outside to put something up. There is even room on top of the roof, which is called the solar room. There's plenty of room up there, but we would need to find out about that. I think that's the only thing maybe that might be a problem. If you don't have any people coming over, it's pretty in the spare bedroom, but we're obviously bound to have people coming over, and I would love people to come over. So we'll have to think about that one. So on that second day, because we only stayed in one night, we was booked in at a place down near Granada. When I looked at it on the map at the time, it didn't really, I mean, I knew it was in the mountains, but I didn't realise how far it was up to the Nava Sierra skiing resort. So we left about midday at that place. And we drove down, trying to think now what the weather was like. I think the weather was right that day. Yeah, we drove down there. We got to Granada, went through Granada, and Granada was massive, so we just kept on all the major roads going through Granada. And then we came out the other side, we could see the snow on the mountains, and then the road sort of led up that way, and then the road sort of then become like a windy, bindy, narrow road, and we saw this massive bus coming down the hill on like double Z bends, and we thought, oh my god, we've got to come up and down this every day. So anyway, we drove all the way up this hill. The temperature dropped down to 6. We was having temperatures up to about 12 then, I suppose. So anyway, it gets right up there, and then of course, you know, as always, we get stuck near the end of the blooming site. And of course we've been spoilt, I suppose, past couple of days. The toilet blocks had always been very close to us, whereas this time we virtually had water quite a way. Anyway, we got there, we set up, because we was going to stay there for 8 days, and that was going to be our other base camp. I know Jan wasn't happy about it, and to be honest, I don't think I was, if I had to keep going up and down that road every day. So we stayed the night. Jan went to sleep quite easily. I just couldn't get to sleep because the dogs in the village were barking and chunking all night. Anyway, I got to sleep eventually, obviously, but I didn't get a good night's sleep. The only plus thing I liked about that site was the showers. The showers were just like a proper shower, where it had been, where you had to press a button and you get like 3 minutes of water, then it goes off and you have to keep pressing it. Well, this one he just kept it on. So anyway, we decided then that we weren't going to stay there anymore, so we thought we'd book a campsite down near my house, as I call it. So we set sat nav and we set off, and it wasn't really windy. We got onto a toll road, which is a lovely road through some lovely tunnels. But while we was out on the open, the old van was rocking around it, and there was hardly any wind. But anyway, we eventually got down into Malaga, and then we was following the road up towards Coin Way. I can't remember the Ahu, whatever. The sat-nav for some reason got us lost. We just went up this massive thin road up a steep hill. It said, "You're finished, you're here now," and there was nothing there, just a load of farmhouses and a little village. So we reset it again, and it said that we was out by about 6 miles. So we come back through this other village, who then decided to take us through all the back streets, which was a bit nerve-wracking because it was just wide enough to get around through. And it just kept turn left, turn right, turn left, take the next right. And we was just going, we just thought, right, that's it. Thankfully, we looked on the net the previous night, and we wrote down another name, actually in Torremolinos. So we'd come down the road, and right in the middle, Torremolinos, lovely little site. Yet again, nearly all full up. Got a security guard on at night, which is nice to know. Even though we're right next to the airport, it seems the planes don't fly after about 11 o'clock at night, and they start up again about 7ish. So we didn't have that noise, and I had a night. I mean, that was the first day that we got down here. Well, actually, I had my jumper off, walking around, and even though I walked Bonnie that night, the coat was just too hot. And then in the morning I took Bonnie again and just put a jumper on. Even wearing a jumper, it was too hot. And even in the night time, I slept on top of the bed until about gone 12 before it cooled down a bit. So what we talk now, we're talking Sunday the 15th. Yeah, oh yeah, that's it. On the 14th, Jan give me my Valentine sweetie, and oh, she's a lovey, and I didn't buy her nothing, but I'll give her a hug. I'll give her a nice hug. Valentine's Day. Anyway, on Sunday we had to go down and see Mother. I was a bit concerned about parking the van down where she lived, because it's not a brilliant place to park in, but thankfully when we got down there was a massive space, so I reversed the van in, got out, went in, had a cup of tea. Then went out to the back patio, sat in the sun, had some photographs taken, and I've said to her that we can take her down to the buffet place that we always go to when we go over and see her in Spain, near Tirano. Great place. When we turned up, it looked really quite empty, really. And as we sat down for the meal, the place just filled. Couldn't believe it. I've never seen it so busy. So we had a lovely meal. And then went back to Mum's, thinking we could probably pop in for another cup of tea, but there's nowhere to park the van, so we just dropped Mum off. Now we're back in Torremolinos. I think we might. Jan's just gone off to do the washing, because we got 2 weeks of dirty clothing, and then I think we're moving on tomorrow. I think we're moving along the coast, east ways. We'll see how it goes. Right. So, impressions this time. Well, I've always got strong beliefs on Spain. I love it here. The weather's been great. I mean, alright, it's been a bit windy down here at the moment, you know, because it's February. But I won't be sat here in my short sleeves, that's for sure. Yeah, get on with the food fine. We still haven't found anything better than what we've seen at Camposol. I still think that's the place. We've got another week yet, so things might change. We might find somewhere else, I don't know. We're still going back up into France. I mean, you know, it was 19 centigrade today in February. Come on, gonna get paid like that. in England, are you? Only living summertime. So, yeah, I think we've got another week. We might find a place along the coast yet. Bonnie's still loving it. Yeah, she's still loving it. Aren't you, Bonnie? Bonnie's in the front cab waiting for her mum. Bonnie, come here. So we can get you in the picture.
Oh, go on, Dad. Here, Dad. I'm here, Dad. Daddy, I'm here. Licky.
Yeah. So, into our next vlog, which should be hopefully end of vlog 3, or the 3rd week. I mean, we've only got another week of this, and then we're going back up towards France, and a bit of a holiday break, really. So, keep you posted.